My work allows me to express myself in my personality. It's got a lot of humor, and I love humor, but even the humor is mixed in with serious subjects. Not everything has a serious subject, but I have done works about gun control and different social issues, particularly for women. I've done a whole series of pieces on washboards, the whole series on trays, but this one right here is about gun control. And, if you didn't know, well, you see the gun and you know it's a serious piece. But this right here, this ruler says, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I think if we followed this rule, we wouldn't have these guns. When people look at my work, I hope first that they will be pleased, that it's fun to look at. Children love it too. And I'm hoping that they'll get some of my messages. If not, I hope they just enjoyed it for itself and for the humor and for the texture of it. The reason I think this is so humorous is because, and don't ask me how I have these things. I have some of the weirdest things, but this is somebody's, Bobby Irwin's homework. He got a 96, and it's talking about Edgar Allan Poe. And so I put the background of a map, and I put a rose and, a bird, some of the other images that I use. But I think it's so funny that I found somebody's homework from probably the 50s. What I use for my assemblages are found objects. Most of them I get in a flea market or antique shop, or maybe they can be on the ground. They can be natural objects like crystals, rocks, shells, sticks, and so they're basically called found objects. I sort of scan the place, and I find one person that has the type of things that I collect, and I buy those. And it doesn't matter even if they're broken, because I'm just looking for the sort of the essence of the object and to put it in art in a different way. Like you wouldn't think of some things as being a hand or a leg, but that's what I use it for. I was a green artist before there was such a thing as green artists. My parents recycled, and we used everything over and over again. And so I think it's just natural for me to do the best with what I've got. That's what my father always said. I hated it when he said that, but now I understand what he's talking about. When I come across a piece that I know I'm going to use in a collage, I will bring it back to the studio, but I don't necessarily use it right away. Sometimes things lie around forever before I glue them down. Very unorganized, and it's amazing I can find what I need. But sometimes when I buy an object, I buy not just one, but I buy the whole box. So I have a whole box of arms and legs from old dolls right here. And then I have a lot of things about Mexico that I glue on. And when I start going through here, I start finding things that I didn't know I had, like old fabric. I was looking for that the other day. When I was a child, I collected charms. I have a lot of charms on my art. And I had dolls. I'm using doll parts. And instead of being on a computer, we did handiworks. We embroidered, we made pot holders, we did things with our hands. And my mother sewed, and my grandmother sewed, and my great-grandmother sewed, so that was a natural way for me to get into art in the textiles and fibers. And I even sewed a long time ago. When I started taking classes at the Louisville School of Art, the very first class I took was ceramics one summer, and I took it with Mary Ann Currier's daughter, who's quite a famous ceramic artist. And I remember, I'd always taken art classes my whole life, but I remember asking her, what should I do now at a certain stage? And she says, oh, just art it up. So I think I've said that to my students, I say that to myself. And so after the ceramics, I went into textiles and fiber, and I did that for years, but I also was a gallery director at Liberty Gallery, and I put together probably more than 100 shows, and one show I put together was about collage. And I decided I wanted to go from the fabric into collage, but I didn't really know how I was going to do that. So I just thought about it and thought about it. It's sort of like the creative process where like you plant a seed. And so for a whole year, I couldn't figure out how I could do it my way because my teacher did fabric collage, but I didn't want to do what she did, assemblage. And so one day, I just started making collages like I make them, and it was just easy as pie, like falling off a log. Every collage, every piece of art has to have a composition, and usually you have a focal point, something that you look at first. And so my eye would go to this paper doll, which is reference to my own childhood with playing paper dolls, and then it would go up to the stamps, which came from my father's stamp collection, which I took it to have it appraised, and they said, you might as well just use that as collage. They're not worth anything. So anyway, so your eye goes up here to the red, and I've got this whole red border, and you see this photo, and it comes down here to another little bit of red. So you've got red up here and red down here, and then you've got these hot dogs, and don't ask me why they're hot dogs, leading your eye back up into the composition. I have taught at U of L and at IU Southeast. I've taught textiles and 2 and 3D foundation classes. I wanted to teach because when you teach, you learn. And some of these things, these principles of design, you know them intuitively, but when you have to actually vocalize and tell and teach other people how to do it, you learn yourself. And teachers are influenced by their students too. I think art is very important for the community. And I think it should be taught, really taught in the schools, and so you can have an appreciation of it the rest of your life. And it does, some of it has strong meaning. It's not all just fun and games, but even the stuff that has the harsh statements need to be made, because that's what the artist is trying to say. And art in history has changed people's thoughts about things. I think most artists have to make art. I couldn't do anything else, to tell you the truth, but it's just something that's in you that you have to create and make things. I don't think you have a choice. Just everything around me, everything I do, one idea leads to the next. And I've got plenty of ideas. Sometimes people give me ideas, and I'm thinking, just get in line, because I've got so many things I haven't done yet, but it's not that I don't appreciate it, because I think people sort of like live vicariously through artists sometimes when they see you're having so much fun. And that's what people say to me. One of the first things is, it looks like you have a lot of fun. And I do have a lot of fun. I can't say enough about the art scene in Louisville. I think it's fabulous. And I've been going to American Craft Council Southeast Regional Assembly meetings, that's a long thing, for about 30 years. And so we go to the different states. And when people come here, or even when we go there, they say, Louisville, Kentucky's really got it together. And I think we really do have a vibrant art scene. And I'm just so happy. I think it's getting better and better every day. In these tough times, art is still very important, because it lifts your soul, and it takes you away from the reality, the harsh reality of what's going on today. And I love to live with art. I walk through the house, and I'll be worrying about something and thinking about everything I have to do, and I'll just look at a piece of art, and it just makes me smile and sort of shifts my mood for that part of time. And even if it's for a few seconds, that's a few seconds that you get a vacation from what's going on in the world.